With the Celtics taking home the trophy last season, teams are making moves to challenge the throne. In this video, we will be picking one player from each Eastern team who would be the X factor for them going into next season. He might not always be the superstar, but would be crucial enough for the team's success. Kristaps Porzingis, when healthy, is definitely one of Boston's most important players. Look at his limited actions during playoffs last season. He was beating smaller guys on the post, getting long-range threes and blocking shot left and right. He might be injury-prone, but with careful usage, KP would be Celtics' lethal weapon to conquer for another championship. Only playing 57 games in the regular season last year, he was actually averaging 20.7 rebounds and 2 blocks per game as a third to fourth offensive option. Think about the luxury of Boston having resting players. If KP can be healthy when playoffs time comes, Boston would be a tough team to beat. For the Knicks, Mitchell Robinson would definitely be the X factor going forward into next season. With Isaiah Hartenstein leaving for OKC, there will be a huge void to fill at the center position. Mitchell Robinson is the obvious choice to start at 5. However, news just came out recently that his ankle injury will keep him out for at least 2 to 3 months more. During the playoffs, Mitchell Robinson could still offer more than a block under 20 minutes a game. His defensive presence provides the Knicks a lot of security inside the painted area. His defensive ratings are always below 110, and even though Hartenstein took a lot of his minutes, Robinson had still been a net positive in terms of defensive win share. The Knicks could only turn to Precious Achiuwa as an undersized center during Robinson's absence. The biggest issue in his career had been staying healthy. Robinson would be very crucial to the Knicks' postseason success as he would be the only true center in the team. The biggest offseason acquisition for the Sixers would be Paul George, and he for sure would be the X factor moving forward. Having Embiid and Maxey as the 1-2 punch on offense, it would mean the Sixers having the luxury of using Paul George as a third option in offense. That is actually a good thing for the Sixers and George, giving George some breathing room to not need to carry the offensive load as much as he did before. This allows George to re-establish his defensive repertoire, providing Sixers a much-needed defensive stopper at the wing. Obviously, he is known for his defense, but in recent years his defensive win shares took a slight hit. Still great when you look around the league, but not as excellent as when he's one of the DPOY candidates. As a shooter, George never shy away from putting up shots. Last year, he hit over 41% of his three-point shot on 8 attempts per game. With him shifting his focus more on the defensive end, we can anticipate George to elevate as one of the most lethal 3D weapon. Just saying the Sixers now have Paul George as a third option is scary enough. The Nets are surely going into a rebuild mode. With Mikal Bridges traded to the Knicks, it is hard to say who's the first option on the team. Cam Johnson would be someone to put an eye on given his offensive ability. Played with the Suns before, Johnson had been quite mature as a 3-and-D guy. He had been a great shooter since day one entering the league and had been hitting over 39% of his threes in his career. He is a player that could give you a bit of everything on a nightly basis. It would be safe to assume Johnson would be the top options in offense next season. Cam Thomas might be the go-to scorer now, but you always need someone like Johnson to stay ready on the corner to get you a 3. He still has a lot of room to grow, and this would be the season for Brooklyn to decide if Johnson could be their future cornerstone. For the Toronto Raptors, look for a breakout season from Gradey. Going into the draft as a shooter, Gradey was not receiving much playing time early in the season. He had not shot the ball particularly well, and his defense was not at a playable level. But as the season progressed, he started to find his rhythm and being less hesitated when putting up shots. Also, with injuries took place for his teammates, he started to get a lot more playing time post-All-Star break. After the break, he averages almost 29 minutes per game, 12.5 points per game, and shooting almost 38% from behind the arc. The 26 games he played after the break might be a small sample size, but he showcased his ability to thrive in the 2 spot. With the Raptors establishing their core in Quickly, Barrett, and Barnes, Dit can be a great supporting cast next to the trio and provide the necessary outside scoring. Every team needs a shooter, and the Raptors might have obtained a good one already. One of the biggest bargains this offseason would be the Milwaukee Bucks picking up Gary Trent Jr. at minimum. Let's put it straight, Trent is 100% not a minimum deal player. He averaged almost 14 points while shooting close to 40% from 3, adding 1 steal per game to his stat sheet. He is the perfect combo guard to be played next to Damian Lillard. His shooting consistency and above-average defense would make him an upgrade over Malik Beasley, who started at 2 last season. The Milwaukee Bucks need any shooter they can get when having the Greek Freak who draws so many attention in the paint. Players who can make open shots are very crucial to the Bucks' offensive scheme. We haven't mentioned Trent had the experience playing next to Lillard in Portland before. With all the limitations, the Bucks have for sure done the best job in landing undervalued players. It would be interesting to see how Gary Trent Jr. elevates the offensive floor for the Bucks. For the Cleveland Cavaliers, their success would be decided by the improvement of Evan Mobley. As a playoffs contender the last 2 seasons, the Cavs always lacked the extra step to go forward. The heavy reliance on Donovan Mitchell offensively had been worrying. Fresh off a max extension, the Cavs put a lot of trust in Mobley's development. In his first 3 years, he was not able to develop a reliable three-point shots. Some of his mid-range games were gone too. He was not able to provide the much-needed inside scoring the Cavs longed for. But defensively, he had always been a good help defender and being extremely mobile at the defensive end. He had shown in playoffs that he is still the defensive anchor of the team. In his 12th playoffs game, he averaged 16 points, 9 rebounds, and over 2 blocks a game. If he can improve his jump shots consistency, he could create an extra dimension offensively for the Cavs. The Indiana Pacers had a surprising playoffs run, but they were actually doing that without Bennedict Mathurin, who ended his season earlier in March due to a shoulder injury. Coming off a promising rookie year, he did not evolve into a player that the Pacers hoped. He is still riding the bench in most games, and were able to provide some offensive firepower. He improved slightly in terms of his efficiency, but his subpar defense did limit his time on the court. With other young players on the team rising, he found himself in an awkward situation. As the season progressed, Mathurin found his stroke and was able to get a few 30-point games. Going into his 3rd season, he would need to showcase his offensive consistency. He got the skill sets to get himself into a shot, but with the limited opportunity he would need to make the most out of it. His scoring ability would be crucial for the Pacers moving forward. Mathurin would be responsible to carry the offensive loads in the bench unit. Pacers would be scary if Mathurin can thrive in his 6th-man role. The Chicago Bulls have been struggling to find the right groups to get out of mediocrity. One of the reasons would be injuries that kept their players out for extended time. Lonzo Ball had not been on the court for 2 straight years. He only played 36 games for the Bulls so far, but when he played he was a great facilitator, an improved shooter, and a game-changer. He didn't rely much on his athleticism, but his outside shooting had drastically improved, making him a threat on closeout. In fact, he was shooting over 42% from 3 in the last season he played, and was averaging 13.5 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 5.3 assists with 1.9 steals per game. The ability of him connecting the team is what made him special. He might not stuff the stat sheet, but he for sure is a great player when healthy. The Bulls traded for Gradey, who had a similar game, but who wouldn't like having 2 of these players? It would be a welcoming sign if Lonzo can return to form, and I really hope that happens. The Detroit Pistons had a very rough season, but they did pick up someone with very high defensive potential in Ausar Thompson. Even though his outside shooting and free throw percentage were awful for a wing, his defensive upside definitely made up for that. With the fluctuated playing time offered to Thompson by Coach Williams, Thompson had a hard time finding a rhythm on the court. Oftentimes I believe he was playing out of position too. Over the course of his rookie season, Thompson has shown that he has a knack for making good defensive plays. Moving forward to next season, Thompson would need to improve on this shooting to get himself more playing time. His ability to cut, handle the ball, and get rebounds make him a contributor even though not much plays would be drawn up for him. Thompson's defense alone would make him an important piece within the Pistons' young core. I truly hope he can evolve into a great two-way player and give Pistons some hope on the future. The Orlando Magic had been very patient with Jonathan Isaac. After a devastating knee injury that kept him out for more than 2 full seasons, Isaac played 58 games last season, the most since 2019. His length with his defensive pursuit make him a very capable help defender. In the limited time he played last season, he was allowing only 105 points per 100 possessions. While he's on the court, his versatility also benefited the offense, in which he had a 10.9 net rating. Isaac also had been a serviceable shooter, hitting 37.5% of his threes. His defensive efficiency was out of chart. While only playing a bit less than 16 minutes a game, he managed to get 1.2 blocks on average. The Magic put a lot of trust in him extending the forward for another 4 years, and Isaac would mostly be playing off the bench, providing that much-needed depth defensively. The Magic have their star duo in Banchero and Wagner, but having someone like Jonathan Isaac who can impact the game defensively would be significant for them to challenge the throne of the East. The Miami Heat are a tough team circulated by good players, but injuries often hurt them from succeeding down the stretch. Terry Rozier, who's supposed to provide Miami the much-needed offensive consistency, went down late in the season, ended up only playing 31 games for the Heat after his arrival. He definitely saw a decline in offensive touches once he joined Miami, but his outside shots were still falling at a high rate. Statically, Rozier actually improved drastically defensively after the trade. He was having a defensive rating 3 times better than what he had with the Hornets earlier in the season. Obviously, the Heat defensive scheme helped, but Rozier had shown previously he could hold his ground on defense. His ability to not only score but also facilitate make him a valuable asset to the Heat. If a comparison needs to be made, Rozier might be a younger version of Kyle Lowry. His three-point shooting and offensive output would determine how far the Heat can go this season. The Hawks get rid of DeJounte Murray and built a more balanced roster. With the brilliant Trae Young and uprising Jalen Johnson leading the way, the Hawks do need a guy who is not necessarily shiny but get the job done. And that's DeAndre Hunter. Entering his sixth season, Hunter had made his name as a starter-level scorer. He does not need the rock on his hands much, but still will be able to quietly stuff your stat sheet on different categories. Last season, Hunter's outside shooting volume increased. But at the same time, he was hitting a career-high 38.5% from three. Health had been an issue for Hunter throughout his career, with him only playing 57 games last season. Hunter would need to be the stable force in the wing position and act as a third option on a nightly basis. Having a 6'8" frame does not really help him defensively. His defensive ratings were not satisfying at all. He had been averaging similar stats since his second year, and the Hawks would very much hope there would be some sparks in his development. If Hunter can expand his game a bit on areas such as attacking the basket and playing average defense, it would definitely be beneficial for the Hawks in the long run. The Hornets were able to trade for Josh Green for basically nothing. When I said nothing, it's actually a second-round pick in cash consideration. Anyhow, the Hornets netted a great wing player who has potential to start. Coming into the league as a non-shooter, Green had improved his outside shooting gradually. Last season, he was able to hit 38.5% of his three in the regular season and 39% in the playoffs. Green also had some nice games in the playoffs, indicating he doesn't fade under spotlights. His athleticism and rim-running ability make him a very good complementary player next to the stars. Green is evolving into a serviceable 3 and D player, and getting the opportunity to play with a young Hornets core would allow him to develop his skills further. He could be someone taking the starting 2 spot for the Hornets. Playing next to Ball, Miller, and Bridges, Green would get lots of open looks, and it would only matter for him to convert them. Hornets are not a win-now team. Green would have the chance to prove that he belongs to the league and could be a core piece moving forward. The Wizards are in full rebuild mode, and their only hope would be their young players pan out. Bilal Coulibaly was one of the bright spots last season, showing some promises in his game. Given the chance to play as a starter late in the season, Coulibaly was able to put numbers on the scoreboard. He was still raw with his offensive game and was not extremely smart on defense, but his length and size are hard to ignore. He showed some flashes on defense and was gradually hitting opening looks as the season went on. The Wizards do not currently have a direction on team development, and that apparently frees up opportunities for players to make mistakes and learn. Coulibaly is a young and exciting prospect. The Wizards would just need to focus on his development. I am anticipating more diverse offensive output from Coulibaly this upcoming season, and improvement defensively would be worth to keep an eye on. The Wizards might not win a lot of games, but betting on the right development could do them wonder. And there you have it, the X Factors for the East. Let me know which players you think would help your team. Don't forget to subscribe for more basketball contents. This is Basketball Convos. Bye for now.